Steve Jobs' profound impact on the retail industry has been felt from big box retailers to small boutiques. Is it fair to say Jobs changed the face of retail? Joining us to discuss this from Philadelphia, Sarah Henry, an analyst who covers retail stocks at Manulife Asset Management. Her firm oversees about $217 billion in assets. Sarah, welcome to Bottom Line. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Sarah, I think I answered my own question, but I guess I'll go over it anyway. Because of Steve Jobs' vision, Apple didn't just move the retail landscape, it caused a seismic shift in the way that products are made, rolled out, and sold. Not too bad for a company that was started in a Silicon Valley garage back in '76. How did Apple change the way consumers shop, and how did it change the way its competitors strategized rolling out their business models?
Well, I think Apple rightly gets a lot of credit for making the most perfect consumer products. But in addition to that, they do make the most perfect consumer model of retailing with their showroom concept that directly connects the online business with the brick and mortar business, and it's been a very strong alchemy there for growing sales.
Sarah, Apple's valuation now exceeds the combined worth of Microsoft and Intel. How does Apple maintain that dominance? Is it an overseas expansion, particularly in China? Is that the key?
Well, I think the brand equity of Apple is strong, and it's made up of more than just Steve Jobs. It's a company culture, that's his legacy, and there's a culture of creating perfect consumer products and a perfect model for selling them. So that is the strength. They have a relatively small footprint of their own stores. Those will continue to be open on an organic basis, and there's plenty of territory for them to conquer yet.
Well, Apple's stock price has risen more than 9,000% since Steve Jobs returned to the company in 1997 after he resigned a decade earlier in that power struggle with then CEO John Sculley. Apple's product pipeline appears to be set, but in a few years when consumers and investors start to ask, what have you done for me lately? How's Apple going to respond?
They're always at the forefront of the cutting edge in connecting to what the consumers need before they know what they need. I think that they're defining a playbook. We've seen Microsoft opening their own stores in a similar fashion. And truthfully, if you look at the retailer results that were reported today, the ones that really persevered and did the best were the ones that sort of took a page out of the playbook as well. So you have the situation where the consumer experience is just as important as the products they're selling. So products as a derivative of consumer experience.
Well, Apple's new CEO is Tim Cook. Is his first challenge developing Apple's next generation of products without the watchful and, as some have called it, obsessive eye of Steve Jobs? And how will the management structure that Mr. Jobs so skillfully put into place respond to Tim Cook?
I have a lot of confidence, and investors have a lot of confidence who own Apple, that the culture has been ingrained in all of the territory and all of in the DNA of the company. So I think it's a strong probability that'll continue.
Sarah, in our last 30 seconds, I have to ask you before I let you go, because we did have the retail sales numbers coming out today. Solid gains reported. I thought consumers were a little bit skittish about opening their wallets. What happened?
Well, I think over the last few days, we've seen a constellation of positive news on the consumer front. We've seen relatively stable initial employment trends, initial unemployment, continuing unemployment, a little bit better private employment, and it's reflected in these indicators that we've seen in the industries that have done it right. Target. We saw Target with their Missoni launch, Kohl's doing a little better, and then on the high end, Saks and Nordstrom, all of this getting back to the Apple notion of the best experience in retail will drive sales.
Sarah Henry of Manulife Asset Management joining us from Philadelphia. Sarah, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.